Hello from Idaho. I strive to provide interesting videos about motorcycles, fabrication, welding, electronics, machining, and general creativity. I hope you enjoy. Okay, we're back at it. I've got my PVC glue warming up on my coffee warmer. Looks like it's ready to go. Coffee warmer in the shop is really a treat in the wintertime. Okay, we're still working on the drop tube a little bit. We have our doubler that we need to put on page 2. And right after that, it's going to go on like this. We need to drill 8 holes straight through for the cutter pin that will be used to release it. And that way, no matter what the orientation is of the target and the thing that activates it, there'll be a hole that's pointed toward the activator. So one of the nice things about this particular bushing is it has the flats on it for a wrench. Well, it turns out there's 8 points. So all I have to do is line up one point with the center line of my slots, and then put it together, and then I'll be able to drill a hole at each point, and that way I'll know I have 8 equally spaced points. Okay, so if you guys haven't located a Ace Hardware or a Tractor Supply place or something like that that carries varied hardware made by the Hillman Company, well, you should definitely go do that. So here's a little 1/4 by 1/4 bushing that I bought that will ride in the track, and in fact it'll actually spin on a screw, and so that bushing reduces friction and it reduces wear on the track, and it's just a common part. It's Hillman 65846, and they have all kinds of bushings, but they just happen to have this one. It's in aluminum, which is plenty strong enough. I would have bought steel if they had it, but aluminum is fine. And so I just need to drill in and put that bushing in when the time comes. But that's not now. Before I lose this, I'm going to put it back in the bag. Okay, the next step is to shorten this tube to length. Okay, if your drop turner is not going to be staked to the ground like in an outdoor match, then we need to make provisions for the legs to hold sand. And so therefore we need to make a plug for this top part of the tee and glue it in so that the sand will be restricted to the legs, but it can't make it up into the drop turner mechanism. So we can use PVC to plug it. We could probably use aluminum. I happen to have a leftover piece of Lexan, a polycarbonate, and I'm just gonna make a little plug and glue it in there. So this is 1 5/8. Half of that would be a half, and 5/16, which would be 8 plus 5 is 13/16. So we'll set our little scribe to 13/16. Make that the center. Oh, now I need to move my center punch. Y'all probably know this, but you can move a center punch just by restriking it with some angle on your center punch. Okay, I'm back. You can see I made a round one. This just needs to be put in here and pushed all the way to the bottom. And then when you glue in your PVC of the part that has the slots in it, it'll hold it in, and that way no sand will get up into the mechanism, and all the sand will be restricted to the legs. The reason this is necessary is because the legs and the tube with the slot in it weigh quite a bit less than the part that drops and turns. The part that drops and turns has got 2 pieces of wood 40 inches long. It's got a cardboard target, and it's got several T's and caps and connectors. And so it probably weighs twice as much as the base. And physics being what it is, the base will turn at the same time that the top turns. And so this will be sliding around like this on the ground, and it will mess up the movement of the target. So by filling the legs full of sand and having good rubber feet on it that can get a good grip on the floor, for example, for an indoor range, then it shouldn't do that. In an outdoor range, you could skip all of this, and when you put your legs in, just drill some 1/2-inch holes for some of those giant nails, and just stake it down to the ground like you do regular targets. And prepare to put this on. There are a whole range of color PVC devices made for and so that's where this part comes from. And so that's where this part comes from. And it's not typically available. This is made for winter and PVC cheers, but never remember certified by PVC sliders, hinges, 6 T's, okay, there's our we're them. So that's what we're working on. We'll do that after install. So there is one time you have to use measures to put this together. The thing there is that it's easy to stroke that you could take the measure out and like this one piece. I've done another targets. I did that PVC box that I made for a machine in my absolutely. And it was never needed. And it is a little bit different than glue. And so I'm just gluing up. It's try that or go through careless handling. So it's broken, careless handling or any shot or whatever. I'll have to remake that part. It's a part, but you can have a screw now. It's part of 2 pieces. And so I'm going to have to handle this. But I won't know since I've been using 2 years what I would take out. And once I make that, I'll just screw it there. Those of you who are making this target for an outdoor range, I recommend instead of a little peak on the bottom, that you drill some kind of holes through more corners. You take down with those big lumber nails. The other cool part of that you could put weight in the bottom of the tee and put gas on it. They put sand there, concrete, round nails. You put that on work. Because this is very light and the cardboard is about 18 by 30. And so it's pretty good. And then my blow full fire. You don't need to take down. I don't need to raise the revenue. Okay, I don't need to raise the revenue. You have to go in. Then you okay. There's the base. There's the base. All right, let's make sure we've got a smooth drop. Boy, that's That's smooth like butter. Next, we're going to make the part that actually carries the target and that drops. And so we need a length of this. We need our 1.5 by 1.5 by 1. Let's just lay this out a little bit. So there'll be a connector here and a connector here. There'll be a short piece of pipe here and a cap on each side. And so the lath will go down in to this 10-inch length, and that'll capture the stick really well, and it won't wiggle around in the wind, and it won't wiggle around when the target moves. And so that's the part we're going to make now. So stand by for more gluing. I'm a big fan of double checking. So 1 inch up from the end is where the bearing goes. So let's just make sure that I got enough material. Alright, so this would be all the way down. We got a little margin here. Need to have some more of that hot coffee. So I need to mark for my bushing, for my bearing. Mark the very top of this. It's not super critical. It could be anywhere. I just like it to be where it should be. Okay, bisects the tube. All right, that's pretty good. More drill. More drill. Okay, the next step is I need to put a 4-inch piece of wood inside this end of the drop assembly. That will spread out the force that goes into this bearing. The wood will be glued in to the bottom here, and it should make sure that that screw will go into something solid and won't loosen over the course of 10 years of use or whatever. So it's table saw time. Okay, probably sounds weird, but we're going to make a dowel. I went to the hardware store the other day to buy some of the things for this target, and 1-inch dowel was $9. Well, that's too much for this project. It's not a super critical part, so I'm just going to make a round thing out of a rectangular thing. Okay, I got my hex that I just cut on the table saw, and I got my PVC, so we'll make it a snug fit and then cut it to length. So now I need to scuff the inside of my drop tube. So if you haven't made one of these things yet, I'd recommend you do it. It's just a 1/2 inch dowel with a small saw kerf. Got some 150 here. Just happened to be what I had. And my handy dandy little sandpaper cutter works like a champ. It's just a hacksaw blade with a couple of spacers underneath it, hooked to a piece of 1x2, but it allows me to cut sandpaper. And let's see, we're going to turn this clockwise. Okay, so now I got a sander for the inside of my tube. So we'll scuff up the first 4 inches or so. Looks like I'm going in about 6 inches of the inside of the tube. And that'll make the glue work well. And now that I've thought about it, I think I'm probably going to use super glue. I have a pretty tight fit, and I don't think 5-minute epoxy is going to, now I know this is a little over 4 inches, but the 4 inches was arbitrary to start with. So anyway, the 5-minute epoxy is pretty thick. It's a pretty high viscosity glue, and so I think I'm just going to put this in with a liberal dose of super glue. Okay, there we have it. Now we've strengthened the bottom of this tube. We'll be able to drill into it for the little bolt that holds on the bushing. Okay, by now my glue is set up. Okay, we just need to be able to see the hole through the slot, and then put our screw in. Right. Well, my welding table is a mess because I've been working on it all day, but I want to show you this thing dropping. So in order to reset it, you lift it up and it follows this thing, follows the track. And then the cotter key will go in here. I don't have this drilled yet. But when the cotter key is removed, it will fall and turn. Okay, another day. I've just decided it takes about 5 times longer to film a project than it does to do it when you're not filming. Okay, I got a little stick here to prop up the back so that this tube is level. And then when I put these on, they will be level as well. Okay, it's time to put the little feet, little rubber feet on the bottom. One of the features that I kept in this welding table, it actually used to be a motorcycle lift, now it's both, is I made this part removable, which gives me a way to do things like this. And so I can take it completely out if I need to have something that sticks down on both sides. Alright, so now we can glue on 2 of the caps. Okay, it's time to put sand in. Okay, now we're going to make a couple of target sticks. These are a little bit different than normal because I want a snug fit. So when I designed this target, I had to make a choice. I could have made these tubes 1.5, in which case this would have pushed down in there without any resistance, and the sticks would be loose. By making it 1 1/4 and chamfering these four corners for 9 inches or so. The stick will fit tight, and this is a small price to pay. You can do it with a sander, with a knife, with a spoke shave. Could probably do it with a hatchet if you needed to. Okay, we've got our two little tapers on the end of the stick, and they fit down into this area. So when the drop mechanism works, the target sticks do not move. That helps keep the target staples from pulling out and getting loose, and it also keeps any wind from moving the target within the holder. So I think this is a pretty good solution. Like I said, 1.5-inch tees and connectors and caps would have left the lath very loose in there. I built target stands that way, stationary ones. For stationary, it's not bad. And then the other option is it wiggles all around in there, so then you need to make a wedge to drive in here. I just like this solution better. If you prefer not to have to shave the bottom of your sticks, then change all this part here to 1.5-inch PVC. Okay, we're going to make the release cord. So the best way I've found to deal with paracord and nylon stuff is to cut them with a very sharp set of side cutters. So first we're going to put on the cotter key and slide it down some. Alright, we're going to go down a couple feet and tie the pin into the middle of the rope. I know that's counterintuitive, but you'll see in a minute why that's a good thing. So here's our target. The pin will obviously go in here. I don't have enough space to raise it up, but so the pin would go in here. But in order to keep the pin and the cord from getting separated from the target during teardown, when you tear down a match, things go crazy. People are in a hurry, and so it's best if you can make the target one piece, so you can't lose any of the parts. Okay. So now the pin is captive and the rope is captive, and so when you put it in there and remove it, it just lays there. But when you go to set up, when you go to put the stage away, now you can't lose this thing, because this piece right here is doesn't come apart because of the screw in the bearing. So now we're gonna cut the other end. I like to have about 20 feet or so of cord. You can always add to it at a match, but it's nice if you can at least get most of your stages set up. Alright, so let's see. This is roughly 3 feet. So there's 3, 6, 9. Nope. Didn't unwind enough. I'll probably regret that in a minute. So there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Okay, here's the PVC drop turner. Initial test runs combined with a non-threat as if it were in a match. When I pull the orange cord, it will remove the cotter pin and you get this. And so the target is unavailable to the shooter unless it activates. And so this is a good way to pace targets in a stage, make the stage more fun. This target isn't lubricated. It'll run a little faster than this. And then I got a way to slow it down for so that it fits into a match better. So to reset, grab the pin and just raise it, follow the slot, and then put the pin in, and it's ready to go again. So you get 2 good exposures, one for the fast guys, one for the medium guys, and like I said, you can slow it down. If you put this in a stage where a door opens the drop turner or another target after it's hit activates the drop turner, it can make for some very interesting scenarios. And of course, just for straight up shooting of it, you can make the shooter activate the drop turner and require it be done with a strong hand or the weak hand. You can tie a weight on the activation cord and have it looped over something so that when the shooter drops the weight, it causes the target to move. The creative match director will find dozens of ways to make this work. Okay, now I need my compound miter saw. As you've seen from my tiny shop video, everything is on wheels. So my plans call for a 2x10, I'm sorry, 2x8. Cut it into a hex shape. That makes it easy to make on a chop saw. But all I got is this 2x10. So I'm not going to go buy another piece. We will just make it out of this. Okay, time to put some holes in these weights. Okay, I've reset the target and added the weights to make it run slower. This works just like the spinning ice skater. When the ice skater has their hands in next to their body, they spin very fast. And when they stick their arms out, they spin slower. And so by adding weight to the outside, it's like the ice skater putting their hands out. And so you can see it runs quite a bit slower with the weights. And of course you can use just one weight for an intermediate speed. Having 3 different speeds for the target helps the match director fit it into their situation. Okay, a few additional thoughts on the target. If you're going to paint it, make sure to keep paint out of here, and be sure to mask this part right here. The reason I know is because I had to make this thing, which would allow me to sand the inside of this tube. I first painted everything white, which covered up all of the barcodes and all of the glue and whatnot, and then I painted it red. And when I painted it white, I didn't mask this off. And so make sure you keep paint out of this drop tube, and make sure you mask this. So other thoughts. Throughout the construction, you've seen me use my little bushing and a drywall screw. But in truth, I'm going to use a number 8 metal screw because the shank is thicker and it'll be stronger, and hopefully it won't shear off after half a dozen years of use. Other than that, I think the target is a success. I ran it about 100 times before I painted it, and I didn't have any failures. I used each one of the keyways, the keyholes, in order to pull it from different directions. And so so far in that 100 uses, none of my holes have wallowed out. The bearing still running down the slot. The bearing is still spinning. And so I'm quite happy with it. I hope this video helps somebody somewhere. In my part 1 video, I said I would make the plans available for a nominal fee. Well, if you know me at all from my internet presence, you know that I've provided free plans for pretty much all the things that I've invented, a lot of them shooting related. And so it just didn't seem right to start charging now. And so I'm going to make the plans available for free. If you go to my YouTube channel homepage, you'll be able to see my email address, and just request a set of PVC drop turner plans. It'll be a PDF, And so pretty much every computer of every type will be able to read it. Anyway, be safe, have fun, shoot straight, reload, and repeat. And goodbye from Idaho. As usual, if you like or dislike my video, please select the appropriate button and let me know why. I really appreciate comments and I will answer every one. If you're new to my videos, please select the subscribe and the notification bell to get more videos like this.